Hi, I'm Nancy Seiler. For today's Ask Nancy, we've got a decorating expert from Wilton who's going to show you some great, fun project ideas.
Hi, my name is Angie Thayer, and I want to share with you some tips that I use for my annual cookie exchange that I have with my family and friends. You know, it's a great time for us to get together, share some cookies, have some good conversation just before the hustle and bustle begins. So to get my guests excited, what I usually start out with is the invitation. Now, I revolve the invitation around my theme. It could be White Christmas, it could be, home for the holidays, which is what I'm doing this year. So each guest is going to need to bring a cookie recipe based on a family recipe. On the invitation, you're going to want to indicate the date, the time, and the place of the event, as well as, a brief description about what's going to happen. Now, I also like to include how many cookies the guest should bring. Typically, for the rule of thumb is to make a dozen cookies per guest, plus an extra dozen for tasting at the event. You'll also want to indicate if you're going to host a contest. Could be for best dressed, most festive, whatever you'd like. Also, have your guests bring a recipe. That way they can share it with everyone else in the group and they can have a book when they go home. Now, the day of the event, you're going to want to have your table all set up. I like to put a little festive tablecloth on, and then just some kind of centerpiece to jazz it up a little bit. My family and I did a gingerbread house, perfect for my theme this year, which is home for the holidays. So my kids and I worked on it together a couple weeks ago, so I wouldn't recommend eating it right now. And then, as your guests come to the party, they'll start filling up your table, and it's going to be a beautiful smorgasbord of cookies. You'll have your platter of your dozen cookies for tasting, as well as some tags for the names of the cookies. And then your guests can also bring either containers to fill their cookies before they go home, or have your guests have pre-made cookies in your boxes. You can do pre-printed boxes that are already festive. You could decorate your own boxes like I have here in these popcorn boxes. Or you could put it even in just a basket with some decorated parchment paper. Any of these are great ideas to use, and it's just simple so when the event's over they can take their cookies home. Now, if you decide to have a contest, it's great to have some ribbons or trophies or even ornaments to give out, like I had noted before for best dressed cookie, most creative, most festive. Those are just some ideas, but be creative with your own ideas. Some additional ideas that you're going to want to have at your party. It's always great to have holiday music in the background. So have a disc already ready. You could have a fireplace going to have good conversation. I like to have a decorating table. On the decorating table, you can include some sprinkles, some sugars, food writers, or even some sparkle gel. This is a great opportunity for your guests to decorate some cookies that you have baked that are plain. They can swap ideas. Again, a great conversation piece. And then, of course, at the end of the event, you're going to want to thank them for coming. They put a lot of work into this, as well as you did. So take some cookie cutters. Holiday ones would probably work best. And then put a thank you tag next to it. That way they may be able to use these cookie cutters throughout the year or maybe for your next cookie exchange. As you can see, a cookie exchange can be so much fun, a great gathering, plus it kicks off your season while you get to go home with enough cookies to last throughout the holiday.